Welcome to the DMH podcast, Mariela.
Hello, Delphine. How are you?
Good, and you?
Good.
So, what are we going to talk about today?
I think we're going to go with the treatments to complement what we talked the last time, which is, I think, in my opinion, the injectables.
Oh, great.
Because as I said the last time, creams at some point is not enough. I think.
Yes. But I see a huge difference in aesthetics between Europe and the US, not only in terms of trends, but also in how openly the topics are discussed in US. Do you feel the same thing?
Yes, I think here we're a little bit more conservative also in when we start. I think people don't really like to say so much, but also I think here we wait a little bit too long. In Europe, I said sometimes we wait a little bit too long for to start the treatments. Yeah.
A funny thing, the other day, I'm a big fan of the reality show Selling Sunset on Netflix. I don't know if you know this.
No, I've never
this
seen
TV
it.
show.
I never watched it, but I watched one episode after you told me about it.
Okay. So, in short, it's about like a gorgeous woman selling very expensive homes in LA. And one day, Christine Quinn, one of the agents,
The
the very gorgeous one,
yeah.
so aesthetic things that she did. I mean, it's a very strange series, a lot of drama and a superficial girls talk, but nothing very interesting. But I love it. I don't know why.
We need superficial,
Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
I mean, this is a girls. We need girl talk.
Yeah, we need that. So, but anyway, she organized an open house in LA called Botox and Burger, and I was like, "What?" And I was watching the movie.
I don't want to hear that. Everything that everything that a doctor would hate. Botox and burgers.
I was shocked, honestly, and yeah. So I was watching the movie, and there were some injectors, and the visitors.
But the doctor were doctors.
I have no idea.
Okay.
They just wear a blouse blanche, or I don't know. I mean, they look like doctors
okay,
or injectors. I don't know. Maybe
they were strippers.
Oh, it's all fake.
They just didn't show the last part.
So I was like, okay, I suppose it's doctors or injectors, but that it was very shocking. It's like guests and visitors said, "Oh, cool, free Botox," and they did it. So without any medical advice or nothing. And yes, basically you can eat burger and get your Botox injection.
Yeah, this would never happen here in Europe. I mean, yeah, but you see, it's everything that we were talking about last week is all about taking care of your skin, eating healthy, and then you do Botox and eat burgers. I mean, yeah. So I think like we were discussing last week on coming back to your question. I think here in Europe we go a little bit more into the the idea of the whole aesthetic is just going age, as you said it, gracefully. And I think here we try to be, I think we still want to age gracefully. And I think we all, but in the US, they start a little bit younger.
Yeah.
And I think is much more open to the fact that, yeah, we want to do it. Obviously, we've seen terrible things as well. We also see more the bad things, but they also do very good things. But they're also more open to show us the bad results as well, as you see open in Instagram or in the TV, and you see the bad faces.
Yeah. So you are on the Aging Gracefully team, Mariela.
Thank you. Well, we try, we try with the Age Gracefully team, but yeah, but we said we started, and as I said, we did last week. I've been in this industry for quite a long time.
So you manage clinics in Spain and supported some clinics in Switzerland. That's right.
Yes, that's the clinics we supported was while I was working in the industry. So yeah, that was part of the job. And then yes, I had my own clinics in Spain, and yeah, the clients were if we can see the customers, the culture is still the same as if in Europe, I would say, like it would be here in Switzerland. They want to have, people would always leave budget for aesthetics, and they will still want to age. They still want to age in a graceful way. Men and women, I have to say that men and women. But sometimes I think they come a little bit too late. Too late, no, not too late, because it's never too late. But for instance,
they didn't anticipate.
Exactly, because the more you anticipate or the more you start taking care, even with injectables, because when we say, okay, last week we say with some of the creams, you can also start already doing some skin boosters with injectables. It's at a certain age, let's say on your late 20s already, you can start, because that would increase your collagen production, etc., your hydration and things like that. But that you discuss it with your doctor, and then your skin, we will start, and that's already is a difference between a skin booster and filler. They will not give you volume, right? So they would. So these things you have to start discussing them already with your doctor. So your skin will look already glowy. You won't start developing so many fine lines so early, and this type of, and then you would not arrive and at 50 or 60 and not recognize your face anymore. And this is what
Don't say that.
No, but this is what happens. Yeah. And I have to be honest, because this is what happened with people that when they arrive at 50 or at 40 or late 40s, is that they say, I'm not the same anymore. And it happens with everything, because they've been so passive with everything, is that, they don't recognize themselves anymore. And that's when they want to do everything.
Everything, yeah.
And everything at once. And it's too much.
So we are all affected by aging. How does the aging process affect your facial features?
So in your 20s, as we discussed some time ago in one of the podcasts, I said in your 20s you start already losing collagen, your skin start looking dehydrated, and you start already in from your 20s you have to think that it's already downfall. It's not, this.
But you don't think about that when you are 20. You mean you
exactly
have a lot of things in mind.
Exactly, but. Let's imagine that that's already done. You don't think about it, but but you have to start thinking about taking care of your skin. And I think today with thanks to influencers, I think, and Instagram and social media, I think people know that you have to kind of start using more things and in order to look a little bit different. And I'm not saying you have to use everything that influencers say, but I'm saying also in social media, you have also many doctors talking and how to take care at a certain age. So in your 20s, you start already losing you start showing the first signs of aging. If you say fine lines, dehydration, etc. And every decade things are happening, right? So in your 30s, then you start losing already a little bit of the fat in your skin. So then it start, and then in your 40s and 50s is the sagging, right? And then is when your faces start changing as well, the features, right?
So every decade you have to adjust and find a kind of new cycle of treatments.
Exactly.
Interesting. So I've been so curious about treatments lately. It's a very captivating subject. But I think that to start any process or any processes or things like that, it's important to understand the difference between treatments. For example, what is permanent and what is not. What is Botox, peel, fillers, and all the words that we can hear. Can we dive into these subjects?
Yeah, okay. What is permanent? The only thing that is permanent is surgery.
Okay. It's simple.
It's
quick.
simple, yeah. But then when it comes to, and just to be clear, none of the things that we do will ever stop aging. So whatever you do, you will continue aging. So that's why you have to continue.
Until the end.
Until the end. Even if you do surgery, by the way, even if you do surgery, the aging process will continue. So it would stop the aging, or it would stop until the moment you have the surgery, but then you will continue aging. So if you have an operation at 50, or let's say at 60, you will look different at the end, but you would still continue aging. And that's why sometimes when people say, I want to have my operation here and here, you can't really separate your bodies in different. I mean, you cannot have here and then your neck that is all creepy. You have to think your face and your body as a whole thing. The
Like
same happens.
The lips, for example, you told me don't just focus on your lips. I mean, you have a whole face.
Exactly. But now it's the same with surgeries. You have to think about what are you gonna do as well, because you can't have a very young face and a very old neck, or you have to pull the whole thing. And then also you have to check if you're gonna do your face or other things. You have to make sure you inject your hands and things like that, and do things somewhere else as well. So everything is a little bit aligned, So I would say these type of things you have to be careful. The same happens. So let's go back to injectables, which are things that are not permanent.
Yeah.
So you asked for Botox, for instance. So Botox is a neurotoxin. So Botox is just a commercial name. There are different type of, but Botox is the most known today. But Botox, what it does is that basically it blocks the muscles of when you're moving, you're sending a signal to the muscle. Your brain is sending a signal to your muscle to move. So basically, what the Botox does is basically the blocking the neurotransmitter to the saying don't move anymore.
For how long?
It basically does it for 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
Because then the brain starts creating more neurotransmitters. So that's why it is not point as well when some people put too much, or they want to go back too early. It's not point because it's waste of money, and that's why you have also, if you waste too long, you have to find the right balance. If you wait too long, you haven't find your face becomes the same again. That's why you have to find the elegance of things is that you start finding the right balance on when to do the thing. So basically, Botox, for instance, is that it stops to that a dynamic wrinkle becomes a permanent wrinkle, but it doesn't mean you have to be frozen.
Yeah.
And that's what people do. Sometimes they put too much. And a doctor would know how to a good doctor. That's why I said a good injector. So when you tell me we make a burger or a station burger station, no, you need to go to a doctor that knows about aesthetic, that really knows, because it really knows how the muscles work. Where am I gonna live? Because if I want to still want to be able to move, and if I want my eyes to be a little bit more like this, he needs to understand, okay, which is the muscle that is I need to touch, which is, it's not just anybody. So that's why I think you cannot just go to anywhere, to just any doctor.
Yeah. But maybe you develop a kind of addiction to Botox?
No.
No? I mean not physically, but in your mind, because...
But this is a good thing.
Yeah?
I mean
Good addiction.
No, it's not an addiction yes, but it is an addiction in the sense, because you don't want your face, but that's why I say you don't want your face to come back to the same. And of course, as I said before, you continue aging. So yes, of course, when your face after the 4 months or 5 months, your face will come back to the same. So you don't want to see it again like that. So it's not an addiction. It's just I want to be like a free of that frown, free of that wrinkle. I want to continue and they will adjust. The doctor will adjust the amount of toxin that you would to according to your age.
So the thing that it's very difficult when you start this kind of topics and what you can do, it's to find or figure out how to find a good doctor.
Yeah, definitely.
Someone that you trust, make sure you are on the same page with the treatment and everything. So maybe you have some advice about that. Where should I go if I want to do something?
Well, it's difficult. I mean, it's not difficult, but I think you have to find a doctor, or in some countries, certified nurses can also inject. It's not the case in countries like Switzerland, for instance.
Yeah.
But I believe in the UK it is. In countries like the US it is. But I'm talking about certified nurses, which is completely different to estheticians. So they work with doctors. A certified nurse knows about anatomy, and so it's a complete different game. And then you have doctors who know about aesthetics as well, and because it's a different thing. So you need to see if they do this for a living, because it's different. Like also, I see in Switzerland, I see some doctors, they go to the industry trains the injectors, and some doctors, they don't do this after for a living. And for instance, now the government doesn't want that so many dermatologists. They don't want to accept that dermatologists, or some people they get the esthetician, but this is something else. Anyway, they don't want that the aesthetic certification become a thing here in Switzerland, but like it is in countries like France or in Spain, because there is a lack of dermatologists. There is a lack, so they just want them to remain just dermatologists, or it's similar. But I think you need to find a doctor that is gonna do just that. Because if you find a doctor, I don't know, that is a gynecologist and that injection on the side,
no,
no. I want somebody that does that for a living, because that's when I reassure me that is doing 40 or more injections. I mean, 20 injections or more treatments a day. Otherwise, or that has done thousands of injections. So I know that my face is gonna be in good hands. And not all doctors. Some doctors, they specialize in toxin and neurotoxin and Botox, but they're not all. They are great in everything, and then so sometimes they work with different doctors, and So I don't go to the same for every treatment, for instance. There is
Okay, you
one
have
that
you
some that would does.
specialist
Yes, exactly.
in injection and
Exactly.
treatments. It's a long journey.
It is a long journey, and I think they should. But that's because I've been I have been lucky to know some of, and I think some they're very good at one thing, and some of them it's like surgeons. Surgeons, surgeons, you cannot go to the same surgeon for everything. If I'm gonna touch my face, I want one that only does faces. Or that has done thousands of faces. There are others that are specialized only in body. And if I want my breast, I prefer one that has been done thousands of breasts. So face is something different, and I have only one face. So and my face is the first thing I'm gonna show. So I think you have to be really careful.
Yeah, I mean, with the treatment injection like Botox, you can try, and if it doesn't fit, you can move to another doctor because it's not permanent. But for surgery, I don't want to think about that. It's
and
it's
now
a
that
lot.
you say that, I would also say, if let's say imagine that like you try a doctor that it was recommended to you for the Botox, and you say, I didn't like it so much, I prefer it, I want to say something a little bit different. I would still recommend that because you have to wait a little bit, 15 days or 10 days until it's completely settled, because it doesn't act immediately. But anyway, let's say it was not the ideal result. I would still tell you to go to the same doctor and try again.
Okay.
Because and then tell him what you didn't like. Talk to him what you didn't like, because that's the way a doctor would know your face. You know, when you start jumping from one doctor to another one, the doctor doesn't. They never get to know your face, and you never have a
relationship.
with the doctor.
Okay, interesting. So, Botox, I like it. It's one of my future options. But I would like to know about fillers.
Okay, so fillers can be depends. As I said before, I think when you're young, you can start already. I never do. Fillers can be good when you can be a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
Fillers, I think and I think this is why many people have been resistant. Some people, I'm not saying, or they think, I would never use filler, and they actually mix the whole thing. And sometimes people say, she's done Botox in the thing, or I need Botox here, or usually Botox just in case, unless it's not used for some things which are, for instance, people who bite a little bit, or if you want to block a muscle here, it's mainly done on the upper face.
Okay.
Just in case. But unless there are some conditions that you want to do for a precise thing, but it's not to feel anything. But people sometimes say, she's done too much Botox. When you see a puffy face, people say, she's done too much Botox. That's not the thing. So filler, the idea is, so hyaluronic acid, they're made of hyaluronic acid. There are different type of fillers. So there are the hyaluronic acid fillers and other substances. The hyaluronic acid fillers are the ones that come in a gel, and then you would have different type of textures depending on what you want to achieve. And these are the ones that are being more commonly known, and today they are very commonly used. There are others that I see in Instagram a lot now, but that's one of the ones that I use, for instance. So what they are is basically they lubricate your skin. They attract. Hyaluronic acid is present in your body. It's a protein, and is present in your joints. It's everything that needs lubrication, basically.
Okay.
So, but it degrades in your body, and it lasts 24 hours or something like that. 24 to 36 hours. The thing is that now it's manufactured. Now it's engineering manufactured, but before it used to come also from animal sources, but now it's manufactured in the lab. But and it comes in a gel, in injectables. They're already made, etc. But the thing is that they're different. They're different type of textures for the type of volume you want to have.
Okay.
But there are also ones that are skin boosters. They will give you just moisturize. They will just help your skin to look glowy, etc. And these are the ones sometimes that we want. And I would say, for instance, those are the ones that you want to ask to the doctor. I don't know, Restylane Vital, Profilo, these type of things, because these are the ones that we want fertilizing our collagen.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's the only thing that they do. They will just induce collagen in our skin, or they will attract water, so your skin will look more plump. But you have to have a few sessions. It would go away very quickly.
Okay. So you basically you say to the doctor what kind of thing you want, and he decides
Exactly.
what kind of product, fillers or Botox or.
But exactly. And I
Okay.
think this is important that you discuss with your doctor. This is important that you discuss with him and tell him. But the doctor need to look at your face as a face. You don't go to the doctor, and I always tell the client, I want my lips done. And if you have a doctor that tells you, okay, I'm gonna do your lips, then run away. Because no, seriously.
That's a good tips.
No, because then and then if it sits, and if you already have your lips like this, and then you say, I want to put more injectable, and your doctor tells you yes, then it's not a good doctor.
I've seen on Instagram recently a lot of things about aesthetics. I think the algorithm knows my new obsession. I receive so many information, but recently I see something about Sculptra and celebrities. Sculptra.
Oh yeah, Sculptra.
Yeah, you know what it is?
Yes. So Sculptra is not a filler. Sculptra belongs to another type of also volume substance. Sculptra was developed, well, it's been in the market for, I don't know, 20, 30 years. Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. It's polylactic acid. So it basically is the same material that you find in the sutures of dissolvable sutures.
Okay.
So then it becomes, when they're inside, they become collagen. So what it is then you mix it, and then doctor mix it in the practice, and then they inject it. But so the way you have to think about a Sculptra, basically, I'll go back a little bit. It was used for AIDS patients because their faces was very hollow. And so that's how they need to be used in order to fill their hollow spaces. So because of the medication they were taking, that's how it was developed. And today, it was also starting to be used in the aesthetic industry. But it's been used for quite a long time. But the issue is that depends where you inject it, and you don't see any result immediately. First of all, because it's like, as I said before, it will induce collagen. So it will act in the fibroblast of your skin. So what happen is that you need a few sessions until you see a result, and a couple of weeks. I don't remember exactly the weeks, but you need to wait a couple of weeks before you have the next session, or days. But you don't see. You need like 3 or 4 sessions before you start seeing, because it's like a fertilizer. It's like of the collagen until you see a result, and until you see a plumbing. But it gives volume to the hollow place. So the problem is, some people, they injected it here, for instance, because some people, they see a hollow here, which I don't think this is a hollow, but And then what happened after a 4 week is. And then this is why you see a lot of the all
It's like
these.
you wake up in the morning and
This
your
is why you
face
saw,
is completely
all
changed.
these hamster faces that you saw for a very long time. The issue with the Sculptra that I see, it can't be a good thing because obviously it's collagen, but the collagen is different than the hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid, it'll start degrading in the body the moment you inject it. Already, the moment you inject it start degrading. The thing with Sculptra is collagen, so it's a good thing. It sticks to your body, so it's good. It's collagen, and it can be a good thing when injected properly and by the right professional, by the right person, and in the right places. But if injected too superficially, it can create bumps. It can create. So I would never personally get in Sculptra done. I think there are other things that fit the same purpose and which are maybe not as known as Sculptra, because Sculptra is again from a very big pharma, so it has a lot of commercial, so it has a lot of marketing, and it has been used by a lot of doctors. But I think in the market you can find, or at least in Europe, maybe not in the US, but I think in Europe or in other markets where are CE approved, because you have to see that in internet, you see a lot of things that are FDA approved, but there are also we have the CE approved, and some products are very unknown, but sometimes they're for to the public, but are equally better, I think.
Sometimes,
I just remember just to say that if you don't like, if something go wrong with the Sculptra, you have to stick with it for 3 or 4 years.
Oh yeah,
and it can only be removed by surgery.
Okay,
you cannot, like with the hyaluronic acid. If you don't like it, you take hyaluronidase, which is which is a product that you can revert And that's the only thing. I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, not at all. No, I was just I was thinking about maybe that the US do a lot of things that is not allowed in Europe or in France or in Switzerland. And I was thinking about the cellule souche. I don't remember the name in English. But it's a new
stem
treatment.
Cells? Or no, but stem cells we do here. No, it's maybe something else.
The doctor took your blood, and they do with that cellule souche that they will inject in your skin to like kind of regenerescence of
PRP?
Yeah.
But we do that here.
Oh, we do that here?
Yeah, we do that here.
Okay.
And it's actually, just some clinics, they don't have it, but it's because you need the machine. And the machine can be having the machine and you get the blood, and it can be costly for some clinics when they start. But after a while, they actually do it. And it can be complicated because they have to send it to the lab and things like that. But no, they do it.
Okay.
They do it, especially clinics that do hair and things like that. Yeah.
What is the country that is in advance in terms of treatments, aesthetics?
I think Korea is a country that is very advanced in everything that is related to skin. And also, of course, in the US, they do a lot of things, but remember that they have to wait. They always wait for in order to get this. Doctors, what I like about the US, that doctors, they do take the risk, and then they go to other countries and they get the license somewhere else, and they go and inject somewhere else in order to understand what are the treatments that they need to do to understand the treatment to understand what's happening with the skin. This is what I like about the doctors in the US. They would get a license here in Europe. They would get a license in in Asia. So they would teach, in order to understand what are the last trends, do that trend works, is the last products, do those products work? Because doesn't mean that because it's new is good. But they kind of understand also in order to see if do we have enough with what we have or not. And I think this is a good thing. In Korea, they have very, very good products. I mean, you can see they're being the number one country in surgeries, but also in facial aesthetics. But if you see as well in Asia, they are also getting into more the thermal regeneration than just, which is what we were discussing, the youth of the skin, the elegance of coming more. So maintaining your skin rather than do drastic changes. That's why they start quite young as well.
Oh, that's captivating.
Yeah.
It's so glad to be able to talk about treatments, injection with you, because sometimes, in Switzerland or in Europe, I mean, I globalize a little bit, but I'm French. It's maybe why.
France is global. I'm French. France is everywhere.
It's the world. But here,
Italians are the same.
Yeah.
We're the world.
We're the world. Well, like American. Like
so
everyone.
Like everyone.
But sometimes in Switzerland, you cannot talk about that with women when you ask them what are you doing or what did you do to have this beautiful face. She say like nothing special. Eat healthy, some exercise, and be happy. And of course that's true, but it's a kind of a taboo subject here. And yeah,
here in Switzerland, you mean?
Yeah.
No, I do. I don't do a lot. As I said, fillers I don't do so much because I think fillers for volume. Yeah. And I always say, I'm always open about it. But I do toxin, I do the things to keep the skin glowing. Yeah. I do injections because I like it. And I've done so many, when I've been a guinea pig for many things. But I tried, I try if I'm willing to try. When I was in the industry, I was like, I was willing to try anything.
No, but with you, we can talk about that completely freely. But as an example, the other day, so we saw an interview. Sorry, my voice. Take some water.
Is the time I was telling you to this morning when is the public transportation.
Yeah. It's public transportation.
I don't drive, so I have to deal with it.
Sorry. Yeah, we like to say that. I saw an interview with Adriana Carambeu. I know you don't know her, but she's a top model.
But I had to see it, and then when you told me.
Oh, okay.
I knew her husband because, of course, he's a footballer, and in my house, that's the only thing we talk about. So
she's 50, something like that. I don't know exactly. And she was in an interview, and the journalist asked her, so Adriana, what are you doing on your face? Because you're so beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And she responded, not so much things, just exercise, healthy food, and of course, to be very happy.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. But she's totally free to don't share what she's doing and anything. But I was like, come on, you do something. I mean, you cannot have this face at this age without Botox or injection or whatever. And it just the fact that I'm wondering why we couldn't talk about that like a real subject and be just open with that. This is why I love American style about that. Selling Sunset, it's not. It's waste of my time. I mean, it's I don't know how many seasons, but I watched it, and there were like, oh, you know, this afternoon I have to do my Botox, and I was like, okay.
And I like it's great, and I think men should also get in the on the
Yes.
boat, because I think men, they have a very I like when men they talk openly about it, and I think we should have more men.
Yeah.
You know, my boyfriend, he got very my ex now, because he got really into the subject of aesthetics, and it's great because when done properly, it's like they came from vacation and they have a much fresh face, and it's like, oh, and they get hooked, and I was like, oh, I'm looking really tired now. I really need a new need. And I think it's a subject. It can also be very good, it's a very good, they are the best sellers for the best promoters for the industry, because when done correctly, I mean, look at Brad Pitt, David Beckham, Cristiano Ronaldo shows a little bit more, but I think it's more because he took some of the eyebrows, so it looks a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why he did that. They waxed too much his eyebrows, but I think that other than that, his face looks quite nice. But people like, I don't know, the others that I mentioned, I think they look great. They look refreshed. They look and nothing done in exaggeration.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm 100% for aesthetics with men.
Absolutely.
It's good for us.
It's good for us. I don't know what our producer thinks about it, but
But you know, I mean, between you and me, I would like to try with Botox, or I don't know what kind of product, to open up a little bit my eyes. This is my next project.
that's a good project.
And yeah, again, I'm so glad to talk about beauty treatment, injection, buction, or whatever with you. And
I'm always happy to discuss this subject. I actually love this industry. You know, I think every time they're doing so much advancement, and there are not so many new things every time going, but what you can do for people well-being. And I think this is what I really liked about this industry, is that it was instant happiness. And you know, when you especially when I had the clinics, and when you saw the patients, some of them, they came, you know, sometimes because they had your doctors, they talk about as well about their life and things like, and then when you saw them coming out, and they were already going out happier, ready to life. I really
ready to
liked.
life.
Yeah,
That's right.
I just wanted to mention before just before an example of a doctor. When I said you have to look at your face, there was a time that I think we talked about it once, and I think this is why you have to choose a good doctor. And I just wanted to give an example of a good doctor.
Yeah.
I was given, you know, I was a little bit younger, and I was given this hormonal medication, and so I put a little bit of weight, and I wasn't feeling good with myself, but I didn't know why. But I didn't. I wasn't just good in my skin, so I went to the doctor. You know, you just want to do things. I was going to massage. I was doing things. I wasn't, and then I went to see my doctor, the one I do for the Botox, and I said I want to do my lips, and then he said, why? And he said, yeah, and I need this, and I need that, and I start showing, and he's like, I'm not touching your no. And he said, are you sure that's the problem, Mariela?
Yeah.
And then he he was right. And I said, are you sure the problem is not somewhere else? He kind of looked at me and it's like, you need to lose a little weight. But it's like
something else, maybe.
But it's like, it was very honest. But I knew that was my issue. But we had that relationship where he could kind of say, lose a couple of kilos and you come back. But he didn't say it, but the way he looked at me, I'm like, yeah, you're right. And I come back. But that's why I say
it's a good doctor.
Yeah. So he didn't touch my face, but it was and
give you the right
instead
advice.
I would come up on top of having weight, I would be like, on top of the kilos I had, I would be looking even worse.
It's only for 4 months.
No, the fillers can last much longer.
Oh, really?
Fillers can last until they can last for about a year or more if you.
Wow,
depends which one they inject. Yeah. Not the skin booster. Skin booster they last less, but because they just for hydration, so they're not thick. But a filler depends. It can last for much longer.
Okay.
So,
let me think for my next treatment or
but
whatever.
that's what I'm saying. You don't need maybe you don't have fat loss yet. So I think you need. They would probably inject something that is much lighter.
Oh, I would like something subtle.
Yeah.
Aging gracefully.
Exactly.
It's French people. So thank you, Mariela. Sorry, see you next week.
Thank you, Delphine. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.